Welcome back, everyone, to another segment of the MCR. Mac and me. My name's TJ. In this segment, we have some interesting political events that have occurred and are playing out into this next election season. And some of it does affect national politics. So we'll start with this right off the bat. Pete Buttigieg, also known as Mayor Pete, since he used to be the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, turned carpetbagger, moved to Michigan, Traverse City, I do believe, thinking he was going to be the next governor of Michigan. And for whatever reason, he has decided not to run for governor, of Michigan, and that election would occur next year, 2026. The suspicion is he's going to be in the Democrat primary season again because he did it once already. So he's going to try it again in 2028?
Yes.
So he hasn't declared. But the suspicion, the theory, the thoughts are by him because he moved from Indiana to Michigan, and they thought, oh, he wants to be governor of Michigan. Well, he has said, I'm not running for governor of Michigan, though he still resides in Michigan. So then the theory is, well, what's he going to do? Run for president in 2028? So that's what they're thinking, And another nickname that this goofball had was Pothole Pete, if you remember.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be Secretary of Transportation and did nothing. He did nothing for East Palestine, Ohio, when that train derailed. He, you know what? And Pothole Pete, Mayor Pete, he's for me at least. I don't know about you, Mac, but for me, he was the easy example of when they objected to someone that Trump nominated for whatever House or not House, but Secretary position. I'll give me a break after Pothole Pete.
And Rachel Levine and others.
Yeah.
Well, I have heard rumors that he also was going to run for Michigan's upcoming vacant Senate seat that's going to be vacated by Senator Gary Peters, the senior senator of Michigan. And there was rumors he was going to run for that, which would be a disaster because we already have another carpetbagger by the name of Elise Slutkin. CIA deep stater.
And we will talk about her a little bit further down. There's some very interesting data on her victory last year, we'll say.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But I what I want to do is I want to take a very quick trip down memory lane. 2020 elections, all sorts of suspicion of electoral anomalies, given the fact that because of COVID, the Democrats were illegally able to sidestep Michigan voting laws, and the spineless, gutless Republicans here in Michigan let it happen.
Yep.
And then you combine that with Wayne County, and I got more to say about Wayne County here in a bit too. But so you have these 2020 anomalies. 2022, and I still don't quite understand how this happened, but James Craig used to be the chief of police in Detroit, Michigan, okay, and he was going to run as a Republican, and it was always suspected James Craig, a man of ethnicity, we'll say, okay, it was always suspected that he was really a closet Republican, as if to put an evil, sinister twist to that, but we knew he was a closet Republican all along. Somehow his gathering of signatures was determined to be invalid, and there's a theory that the Democrats facilitated that whole tomfoolery in getting him snookered.
Yes.
You talk about political espionage.
It's my opinion that Jocelyn Benson, our Secretary of State, is perhaps the most corrupt Secretary of State in the history of the United States, aside from Katie Hobbs. And she's going to run for governor. And I think because she's Secretary of State, just like Katie Hobbs deja vu all over again, as Yogi Berra said. She's going to certify her own election. So look out there.
Yeah, exactly. Then I want to reflect on last year's elections, 2024. The Republicans, and I'm going to use the word miraculously, because up until, from 2022 to 2024, the Democrats controlled everything in Michigan. State House, State Senate, Governor, State DA, Attorney General, I should say, yeah. Secretary of State. You call it the trifecta, they controlled everything. At last year's elections, 2024, last year's elections, the Republicans miraculously took back control of the State House. Okay. Right. Now, I don't know if you remember this, Mac, but at the very end of the year, leading right up to Christmas, the Democrats were trying to do all sorts of tomfoolery to include ranked choice voting. Okay. Right. And
like they do in Alaska.
And the one thing that stopped them was one Democrat politician, and I don't know if it was a state senator or a state rep, but one Democrat brought it to a screeching halt. And why? Because they're up for re-election next year, and their own selfishness compelled them to do what was right, really. Yeah.
It happens on occasion.
Yeah, it happens on occasion. Their own political selfishness basically saved us. I hate saying it like that, but I don't know how else to describe it.
Well, I think it's accurate.
So now the Republicans control the Michigan State House. So in some regard, it kind of brings out the bulk of the tomfoolery to a halt. We'll say, kind of,
Well, I think we got the State House back because of the Trump coattails.
Exactly. Now, there was a Michigan State senator by the name of Kristen McDonald. She had to give up her state Senate seat because she became, for her district here in Michigan, a House representative in D.C. Now, the Democrats have like a one vote majority in the state Senate. Gretchen Whitmer will not hold a special election because she's afraid they're going to lose that special election.
Well, this just goes to their continued election interference, their voter suppression, everything they accuse conservatives of, they do.
So I don't know when this state Senate seat is ever going to be filled, but with us controlling the House, this one vote majority of the in the state Senate, Whitmer holding up the special election, I'm kind of hoping that all of this is enough to at least stall or hold off the political insanity that otherwise might occur.
For democracy, right?
Yeah, really.
I'm not going to let you vote because it's not going to come out the way I want it to. That's why we call her Whitler.
Yeah. A couple minutes ago, you mentioned Aliska Slotkin, and in the past we've called her Slutkin. Mm-hmm. But I crunched the numbers, and I crunched the numbers right after the 2024 vote because I couldn't believe she won the Senate election when Trump took the state. I'm thinking, how? How did this happen? And I looked at all the counties. I don't know if you have, but I have. Mm-hmm. There's 83 counties in Michigan. She only took 10 of them. Okay.
Well, they're the populous counties, though.
That's right. Now, at the grand total, she defeated Mike Rogers by less than 20,000, and you could say 19 and change. Okay, 20, but we'll round up and say 20,000 votes. The two counties that really got her the victory was Wayne and Washtenaw. And Washtenaw, she had like 100,000 vote disparity, over Rogers. And in Wayne County, she had a 280,000 vote advantage over Rogers. Okay, so so the two together, that's if my math is right, if my news that I've the article I read, if it's truthful and accurate, I believe it is. We're talking 380,000 votes, and you think of she only beat Rogers by 20,000, and we've often
after having very, very late in that election being down by like 56,000, she comes and miraculously wins. Because you know why? They drag their feet in counting in Wayne County, and I've long suspected they do this deliberately to see how many votes they need to manufacture to win.
Well, this is wishful thinking, and honestly, take this with a grain of salt. I would say the Republicans, now that they control the state house, they say they're going to look into it. Yeah. Whatever. Can they please at least at least checks in the mail? Can they at least have enough backbone to keep this from happening again? Right. I mean,
maybe we do need to change the way we vote in Michigan. Maybe we need to go to an electoral college type election. Where every county's got a rightful number of electors.
Yeah, really. In closing, just a couple interesting tidbits here back to Michigan politics. James Craig may be running for mayor of Detroit. The question is he going to run as a Democrat, Republican, or independent? That's what I'm wondering.
It doesn't much matter, and we'll see.
The current
he would be the first Republican mayor since I was born.
Exactly. Mike Dugan, the current Democrat mayor of Detroit, is considering a run for governor of Michigan as an independent. I find that little tidbit interesting.
Well, he's trying to separate himself from the nutty women that run this state.
Exactly, and I think he's doing it to, like you said, to disassociate, but trying to cater to the center right, thinking the center right can say, I can't vote for a Democrat, but I could vote for an independent because I'm an independent anyways.
Matters, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that kind of nonsense. I will say this much in regards to, and I'm going to throw James Craig and Mike Dugan into this. Detroit's not quite the same type of city like you might have with Chicago, New York, Baltimore, Boston, heck, even Austin. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you hear
LA.
It's
being run very differently than it has in the past.
Exactly. You can thank Mike Dugan for that. I don't know if he's
I thank the people of Detroit there, the ones that are left anyway.
Yeah, plus they inflate the residency by a couple 100,000. It always seems. Everyone thinks it's barely over 500,000, and they try so hard to get that number closer to 1 million. And there's no way that's ever going to happen. Not right now. Right. Back in the day, I guess Detroit boasted and this is back, like we're talking over 50, 75 years ago, boasted a residency of nearly 1.5 million people, I want to say.
I think it was close to 2, actually.
So,
and it was considered the richest city in the world.
And that was because of the auto industry, the blue collar workers. Yeah, well, you can thank the Democrats, the unions, and everything else, But anyways, it's very interesting. We'll see what happens with Roger Craig with Detroit, whether or not if that works or if there's any truth to that. James Craig, yeah, that's Roger.
You're thinking of the Tigers' old pitching coach, Roger Craig.
You know what? I am. You're right, James Craig. Thank you for that correction. And it's interesting to see what becomes of Mike Dugan. You know what? I would rather have a Mike Dugan than a Gretchen Whitmer
or a Jocelyn Benson. That bitch is corrupt as hell.
Yeah, exactly. Gee, I hope I'm not stuck with that decision, but you talk about picking the lesser.
I'm sure the Republicans have a next in line lameoid to run.
I know that, and that's why I say that's why I just said what I said, because the Michigan Republican machine is so next in line mindset. It's no wonder the Democrats get away with all their tomfoolery.
Yep.
So That's all I got. I don't know. For those who are watching us nationally or even internationally, I hope the Michigan politics didn't bore you too much, but uh, it does have some effects nationally, I'll say. So
Yes.
that's it for now. Thanks everyone, especially to those who are watching us on Rumble. We're just really trying to grow on Rumble. So if that's where you're viewing this, thank you very much. As we always end with, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.